Hi everyone, so today I wanted to do a little post on the importance of story in the Montessori curriculum. I attended a workshop a while ago now by Rebecca Dallin, and she talked about how story really connects with that 6 to 12-year-old child. They have an active imagination, they have an ability to start to abstract in their thoughts, so through story they can start to grasp these concepts. They kind of have that tendency towards hero worship at this age, so you can create these beautiful kind of moral characters. And she talked about the importance of the story, having a universal thread that connects everyone in humanity, and it kind of helping to give the children gratitude for all these amazing things that we have in our lives and on earth. And so we have kind of great stories in Montessori, which is like the story of language and the story of math and the coming of the universe. So we have these kind of big contextual stories that put our kind of curriculum areas in a greater context in history. And then we have like little stories that deliver curriculum concepts as well. So some stories are really big and some stories are really short. But one of my colleagues recommended this amazing book, and I have to share it with you, which is a Montessori teacher as well, and it's called The Deep Well of Time, The Transformative Power of Storytelling in the Classroom by Michael J. Dorer. And it is just an amazing read. I'm about 3/4 of the way through, and he kind of has all the stories and how he tells them. And it's got some, great kind of pictures to go with the stories. I don't know if you can see them. And it has little kind of anecdotal notes on the side telling you what to do as you're telling the story. So I just love it. And it really reminded me that, sometimes storytelling gets put to the side in Montessori because it's hard, it's scary. You have to get in front of, your children and memorize these stories because you're not supposed to read them. And you have to try and get everything right and make sure you're getting the concepts across. So we put them to the side sometimes, but they're just such an important part of our curriculum. And I was reminded of this because I read this book and I delivered one of the stories of Area, which doesn't even have the name Area in the title. It's called Measuring the Farm. And he kind of recommends that you do the story and then maybe you do, the actual kind of curriculum or material work with it the next day. And so I told these children the story of Measuring the Farm. And they were really engaged. And he writes a lot of the stories or amends them himself, and he uses kind of, fables or folk tales, and a lot of them have that nice repetition, so you can actually remember them quite well. And he kind of puts a moral thing in there as well. And so these children were thoroughly engaged in my story, which doesn't always happen. And I didn't touch on Area at all after the story. I just left it to settle. The next day I brought out the Area material and I said, hey guys, remember that story I told you yesterday? We could do some work around that new science, of Area that, this girl in this story discovered. And they were just, eating out of the palm of my hand. They were like, and they were absolutely engaged. They, took it and followed up on it. And, I even had some children that had come to the story, but they had just come because they had chosen to come, and they didn't necessarily have to do the follow-up work. And so, like, even a couple of days later, they were like, oh, I was thinking about that story last night. And I was like, wow, it just reminded me how powerful story is for delivering concepts to the 6 to 12 child. So I just thought, if you are not so confident telling stories, this is an amazing book to help you. You don't need to be a Montessori teacher to use this book. It's got a lot of the charts or pictures of them. If you don't have them in your classrooms, you could make them yourselves. And it's just such an awesome book. So I think you can get it online if you Google it. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed it.